How you doing, John?
I'm good.
I
How
better
are you?
put my AirPods on and nobody will be able to hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. You'll hear me better in a second.
Good. I'm on Zoom. I don't.
There we go. You can probably hear me a lot better now.
Loud and clear.
And my little AirPods in my ears.
Good.
Hi, Daryl.
Hello, hello, hello out there. Everybody
Howdy.
staying dry?
I'm sorry, what?
Everybody staying dry?
My wife isn't.
Yes, we are.
Where's
She's
I
in the
don't
back-
think we, I don't
She's in
think
the
people are staying
backyard
dry.
trimming branches and getting them in the yard waste can.
Yeah, I hear you. I just drove by the community gardens and also 790 C Street. We got a couple section, small section down at the community gardens and a couple sections down on 790 C Street.
You're talking
wow.
about the fences?
Yeah,
Yeah, fences.
yeah. Shouldn't take much to fix them. Too bad we don't have about 4 young guys to go do that.
Have you
Yeah,
found
that
them?
would be nice.
What'd you have to say, John?
Have you found 4 young gentlemen to do that?
No, I haven't. I didn't talk to Elijah yet because he's usually easier to get a hold of later in the day.
Sure. Good.
Plus, I wanted to see what we're talking about before I talk to them. It's kind of weird because it's a fence alongside of her house. It's still fenced in from the exterior because the chain fence is up where it belongs, and then her small 8-foot section went down, but it's inside her yard, if you see what I'm saying. It's not like people from the street can walk into the garden.
Right, exactly. No, it's an interior wall. That's right.
Yeah, plus there's about 25 feet out front or 20 feet out front that is her fence because we've got a iron fence behind it.
Okay.
I doubt whether she'll even replace that. But the wind succeeded, and it got a bunch of eucalyptus tree branches down over on East 11th Street, all in vacant lots, so no biggie.
Well, we lost 2 panels here in Lincoln Hills. Between our house and Muma next door.
Oh, is that the fence that went down? Oh, I thought
Yeah.
yours was probably on the street side, but it's between the two of you.
Between the 2 of our homes, and it blew into her yard, right?
Well, then she should be responsible, shouldn't she?
She is, yeah.
Brian was explaining to me how these fences work. He says, if you alternate the slats, that's a friendship fence. But if you put all the slats on your side, then you're responsible for the entire fence. I've never heard that before. Well, I haven't had many fences in my life, so learn something new all the time.
No fences in Arizona.
No, none in Nevada. Actually, we did have fences in Nevada. I forget what they were. They weren't wood slat. I don't remember what they were. Never became a factor. Let's put it that way. We got having trouble rounding up people, aren't we? I talked to Brian, or Brian called earlier. but-
Brian's coming on right now.
Yeah, okay. I knew you were gonna be
He just got off the phone with Jerry.
Good.
Well, we're getting closer to quorum. We just lost one.
Daryl? Daryl?
Who?
Daryl?
Yeah,
Now, you didn't hear that story from Richard at noon about losing hearing in one ear?
no.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Kind of
Sorry.
scary.
Technical difficulties on my end.
You've been having those all day,
Oh, I know.
poor guy.
Who's hiding behind the phone? Oh, that's Karen. Oh, that's-
Yeah,
All right, so we got so far 5 of us. Ooh, we need one more. The 2 people that said that they wouldn't make it, Chris and Kimberly. Oh, and not Kimberly, Graziella. Chris and Graziella. So hopefully we'll give another minute. I was starting to think maybe you guys changed the location on me.
We're going incognito, Brian.
All right. Okay. Let me see if I can reach out to one more board member.
Hey, Clark, is that Catavera behind you?
Yes. That's the 18th green. Here's Claire coming on.
Okay, all right. Good, that gives us a quorum. All right.
Hello, Claire.
Is Graziella coming on?
No, she had a doctor's
Hi
appointment.
there, how are you?
Okay.
Yeah, and Chris also let me know she had a conflict today. as
And
well.
what about Richard?
I haven't heard, so I'm
Okay.
trying to, I'll send a quick,
And how about Christine? Did you happen to hear from her? Or?
no, and when I saw, I didn't expect to see her at all today because she had told me she had COVID, so.
Yeah.
she wouldn't be
Oh,
on.
that right? Where'd you get that?
She didn't say where she got it, but she was on her back for like 10 days.
Oh,
But she did make the meeting today, which was good to see her. She looked fine, so hopefully that's good for her. And then she did bring it home and gave it to her son, so that 2 of them had it. Her husband was out of the house because he travels for work.
right.
He was gone, and she had enough energy to disinfect the house, she said. So he's coming home in a day or 2 or something like that.
She never ended up with any hospital time though, huh?
No, it sounds like she was pretty sick, but didn't end up in the hospital or have to go and even have to check. So that's good.
How about her son?
She didn't say how things were for him,
Oop.
just that he got it.
We just lose.
Claire.
Yeah,
Claire.
Claire just maybe she didn't connect right. She's going to probably come right back.
Right. Yeah, we need her back. Don't let her go anywhere.
Sometimes it's easy to hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Does anybody know how much rain we've got in total?
No, I haven't heard about the amount of rain. I know we got a lot of wind.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
I think it varies quite a bit from area to area.
Well, I hope they get the 7 feet of snow up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Okay, so I sent something to Kimberly, Christine, and Richard. Let's see. All right, so why don't we go ahead and get started? Oh, we don't have Claire. Why don't we get started with some things that we don't need to vote on, so we can at least get. Here's Claire. Looks like she's back.
There she is.
All right.
Yeah,
Welcome back, Claire.
Yeah, I lost connection there for a minute.
Okay,
Huh?
no
Lost
problem.
connection there.
Well, thanks for coming back. So Clark, you're recording, correct?
We're recording and
All right.
I'm bringing up the,
All right, perfect. Yeah, and it's 4:10. So we'll get started. And Christine is asking to resend the link. She said the link isn't working for her.
do you want me to send it to her?
Would you
Well,
mind?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay, thank you. Oh, and Kimberly's homesick, so.
Oh boy, I hope she doesn't have COVID.
Well, I know when I talked to her a couple days ago, it was really like a head cold. And at that point anyway, she said it wasn't COVID related, it was a cold. Yeah, I hope that it doesn't, that's kind of how mine started. I just kind of felt, not 100%. And then it moved into COVID status. All right, so we do have a quorum. Now we've got 6 of us here. Clark, Brian, John, Daryl, Karen, and Claire. And we may have some others joining us. All right, so first order. Yeah, that's oh yeah, the minutes. You messed me up there, Clark. So
Trying.
minutes, I think it was Sunday or maybe Monday morning. Everyone have a chance to review those. And any questions or comments about the minutes? Anyone have any?
They look good to me. I move approval.
I
Second,
second it.
All right, all those in favor?
aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, no opposed, and any abstentions? Nope. Okay, so the minutes are approved.
I just, as a point of order, after you said any against, that's when I heard Claire go aye,
Yes.
but I think she was
Yes.
voting in the affirmative because she didn't say no, right?
Yeah, and that's when I went back to any and said none opposed, and
Okay,
then abstention. So yes, yeah. Okay, so I'll cover the financials. For
Clark, I can't understand what you're saying. You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up.
Everybody is. It must be me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone else is clear.
Yep, I just sent Christine the link.
Okay, all right. Okay, so on the, if you could bring up the club financials for me, Clark.
Okay, here's Christine coming on right now.
Okay, perfect.
And let's, hold on one second here. Club financials.
Hi, guys, I'm here.
Hi, thanks for joining us.
Yep, sorry, I had
Hi.
the wrong link now.
No worries. We just got started. We just approved the minutes from December's meeting. Now the club financials, so as you can see In the bank is 21,393 as of the end of December. We have $1,704 in accounts receivable. But she doesn't say what that is. Oh, I think that's all.
It's in the
related to
transaction detail. We'll get to
Yeah.
it at the end.
Yeah. and
Unless you want me to scroll back there now, I can.
No, it's all in membership dues, the entire
Yeah.
amount. Okay. There's 1,200 in prepaid expenses. That includes 1,000 for Cuvée and then 200 for Women's Club rent, which was from the last month that we used it in March. And then we had 250 in accounts payable, which was for Liberty taxes, the 2018 taxes, which we had approved payment of that last meeting, and somehow those never got paid. And then we've got deferred revenue of 6,590, and all of that is Wine Fest tickets that were purchased that have, at least at this point, yet to be requested and returned. So we have a net loss for the fiscal year of 2020 of $1,269.34. All right. And then moving over to the P&L, really not much to report here. The main things, of course, we're under budget in meals income, which makes sense. Happy Bucks also, and our social. So we're under budget in all those. So we're under budget. I guess. Anyway, all right. And then we've got, facilities rent's under budget, meals expense under budget, social events under budget. Wine Fest budget numbers are set for March to May. I think that's about it on that page. Really not much to report here, I think. What I think we'll do, unless someone has questions on anything else, we'll jump right to the last page of these. And that is our AR, outstanding balance for AR. In December, what I had said I would do was send an email out to everyone who was in arrears to try and get that cleaned up. I don't remember what that amount was now off the top of my head, but I sent an individual email.
I think it was like $2,900 if I remember.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yes.
I
So as you can see, we made
close
some
to
progress.
3,000.
Pardon me, John?
Close to 3,000, yeah.
Yeah.
In
So-
fact, it was right up here.
Okay.
So here it is, 2,901.
Yeah, okay. So we made some progress there. And I know a number of these people responded to me and directly to Graziella to get re-invoiced so they could get payments done. So I will follow up with Graziella this month. And I'll follow up with her to see if any progress has been made in January, because obviously when I contacted them, it was really close to Christmas. So they may have sent the payments since January. So this number hopefully is even lower than this. Okay.
I bet it is.
Yeah. So anyone have any questions on this specifically or the club financials in general?
I moved to accept the club financials.
Okay.
Second,
Here, before we do that, I just saw this note from Graziella. Most invoices were paid except the following. So we still have yeah, $1,000 is still outstanding. Half of that is with Father Bill, and I know we're trying to work through that one. So there has been progress made, and we'll continue to chip away at that to get that cleared up. So, sorry, back to who made the motion? Was it
I
Clark?
did. Yep.
Okay. So Clark moved, and we had a second.
Second, John.
Claire,
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nope. Then they're approved unanimously. All right, thank you. Then I'll give a quick overview of financials for the foundation. So the foundation, as you can see, has really for the foundation itself is $10,470 in the bank and $977 at PayPal. So all of that is relative to the foundation. So what's that, 11.3, 11.4. And then 2,700, which is set aside for community gardens. All right. We have accounts receivable of 10,190, which includes, I don't know the specific breakdowns on this, but there's a $4,000 district grant coming back to us for the salt mine payment we did a couple months ago. And then there are a few other grants that are coming back to us. And she didn't give me any notes on these, and I don't recall specifically where all that is, but so we got $10,000 in receivables out there. And some intercompany transfer, about $300. So the biggest thing that is relative to the books here is we sent out a $13,500 check to Rec2Go. That happened just as everything was shutting down, so early March. And that check has been held on to because the Rec2Go project has been delayed. So we asked for that check back. They're sending the check back. We're going to put that money aside in the books, put that money aside so that if they fund that project, then we can give that money back to the city at the time they're ready to move forward. Within that 13.5, 5,000 of that came from the Lincoln Community Foundation.
One, we don't talk about now, but when you, let me mute it real quick.
The Lincoln Community Foundation gave us 5,000 towards that. They've said that they'll honor that 5,000 through 2021 at this point. So we're just going to set the entire 13.5 aside, see what happens as of the rest of this year, and then deal with that either this year or see what happens for 2022. Okay. And
for what it's worth, I think because our books are on accrual basis, that 13,000 is actually in the bank, but it doesn't show on here because since we're on accrual, it takes it out.
yes,
But on
exactly.
a cash basis, it's actually in there. And I think at the foundation trustees meeting, so they'll add that 13,000 to this deferred revenue as a liability if it's claimed. And then I think that's what Graziella told us at the foundation trustees meeting last night, just for the benefit of those who weren't at that.
That is what she said. Thanks for that clarification. So, and yes, so we still do have the money that was shown up top there, the 11,000, and so in the bank available to us at this point. Okay, and then one other thing here, and that is that there was a switch from Vanguard Investments over to Fidelity. That's pretty much done now.
Just vice versa.
Fidelity to Vanguard.
Fidelity to Vanguard.
Sorry, I got it backwards.
That's right.
So the good news is that's behind us, and we'll see in January the breakout there. As well as Graziella was saying yesterday in our foundation meeting that there was an unrealized gain in that account as well. It was like $8,000. And that covers the Bradford accounts,
Permanent.
fund, and then also a temporary fund.
And also Jerry mentioned that for some reason Vanguard couldn't seem to open 3 accounts at the same time. So everything got put into one account, and he's getting those split out to so it'll look like the Fidelity, same 3 accounts, Bradford, permanent. Right now they're all in one, but he's just about done with that process, I think.
Okay, yeah, good. Yeah. All right.
It has been a pain in the neck.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm sure it's taken a lot more time of Jerry's than he ever expected. All right. Anything else on this page? Anyone have any questions? All right. Okay. And I don't know that we really need to get into much else in the way of the foundation at this point.
I have a question on,
Yeah.
let's scroll down a little bit.
Okay.
Not there, keep going. There we go. The donation general, that $1,000,
Yes.
do you know where that came from?
Oh, go ahead, Clark.
I heard that was from your husband. That's what he said at the foundation meeting last night, or that's what Graziella said. That was from Jerry.
Yeah.
I know he did the foundation general, but I thought it was going into a different fund. Into like the permanent or the, so he said general? I mean, I know we gave 1,000 under his name.
He
Okay.
he intended that for the permanent fund.
Yeah, I'll walk in the other room and just confirm
Yeah.
that with him.
Right.
Yeah. I
Well, this
think
is the P&L. So the money comes in under the P&L, but on the balance sheet, it'll be designated as permanent funds, right?
okay.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. And
Jerry, you meant for that $1,000 to go to the permanent fund, right?
Yes.
Yeah, John's right, permanent fund.
Okay.
Okay, I was gonna swipe it and take it into our auction. But I think I better not go against my husband's wish.
Well,
all right. Okay. All right. Anything else? Anyone have any other questions?
I will just say that for those who don't know, that $2,000 corporate sponsor was from Hovanian.
Yeah, I was just gonna point that out too. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
That we had gotten it last spring, but it got held up in someone's inbox, and it had to be shredded because it was beyond the date of when a bank could cash it.
Yeah.
And so then they resubmitted and gave us a new check, which was very generous of them.
Great. Very nice.
Who was the company that was kind enough to do that?
Hovanian Homes.
Hovanian Homes.
They're the ones that
Okay.
are building the homes over there close to Kaiser, between us and Kaiser.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions relative to the foundation P&L? And we don't need to approve it here anymore. So it's really just for our knowledge.
I guess I didn't catch this last night, but is Covanian paying us another 2,000?
No, the check was we
No, I
decided,
see. No, it was the new one was cash because it's under the it's under the fees here.
Yeah.
right.
I'm just let me find it again.
I think we wrote off the first one, Clark, as bad, a
Okay, but
bad,
here, that's not my point though. So we're showing that money came in right here. Okay, and then we're also showing it as an account receivable of 2,000. And I don't think it should be, see here, we have,
yeah,
so that says our accounts receivable is 6,000.
Yeah, you're right.
So
That should have canceled that out.
I just want to look, what does our accounts receivable say up here?
I thought
Yeah,
we
so-
wrote, I thought we wrote off the first 2,000 as, with the bad check as, lost revenue from last year. So obviously that's not the case of what happened.
Yeah, I think maybe she just forgot to take it out of accounts receivable. She deposited it, but didn't take it out of accounts receivable.
She has the,
So
As
this
part
should
of
be
that
eight,
ten-
this probably should be 8,190 right here.
right. No, you're right, Clark. The 2,000 is in the AR.
Yep.
Ovarian.
Anyway,
Okay.
we might have to fix that next month's trustees meeting.
Right.
Okay, I think
Okay.
we're good. We don't vote on this because it's the trustees.
Right.
Okay, I'm all done.
Yeah, and anyone else? No. All right, why don't we hop over quickly to the properties financials. You know what I should have done? I've let John speak to these. He's probably a little more intimately involved in them. So obviously you can see in the bank at the end of December, 19,872 for the properties, 1,650 of accounts receivable, and I'm assuming that has to do with timing of rental receipt of rentals.
Right. It is. That's 2 rents.
Okay, all right. And then some prepaid expenses. I think that's still from the property insurance that we have,
Right.
because we had prepaid that last year. And then undeposited funds, 1,000.
I think
Yeah,
those
some-
were either checks or money orders she hadn't put in the bank yet. Is
Okay, all right,
that right, John?
Right.
okay. All right. And then, yeah, we see just so, a property repair of a heat pump for $700. And then some accounts payable items there. And it's got accrued expenses and security deposit from the rentals. Okay, so at a net income of negative 3,926. Okay. All right.
Right.
So I think the big thing here is within this is that last month, I think was when the property taxes got paid. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Oh, okay, so it was.
Well, this is for the month, but this is what it
Yeah.
is year to date.
Yeah, year to date. So it must have gone out in November.
Which one's the budget? Which one's the actual? Oh, the actual is on the
Yeah.
left. Yeah.
Okay.
The last one is the budget. Last
Right. This
column.
is the budget.
That's
And this
right.
is the budget for the month. This
Yeah,
is
so
this is
we-
the actual for the month and actual year to date.
Year to date was 14,000.
Right.
All right. Obviously, that's the big expense, and I think everyone's well aware that Jerry's going to be going and trying for some sort of reassessment on that. Which that court date is February 8th. Okay. All right.
He had asked members of the club to attend that hearing if possible.
Yeah. I'm scheduled to go to it, John, and I think maybe Joanne Hilton's going too, I think.
Good.
I plan to go.
Or maybe it was Karen instead of Joanne.
No, Joanne, I think has it on her calendar, unless,
Okay.
unless she's needed with her father-in-law.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know I'm actually in San Diego and don't get back until later that day.
It's possible that Truman might have also said he'd go, because Jerry's has been working with Truman to get some comparables on the lots and the houses.
Okay, all right. Okay.
He's not real hopeful.
No. Okay. All right. Any other questions relative to the property financials? No? Okay. And I think we can move on from those.
Okay.
All right. All right, so why don't we move into some committee reports? Clark, anything from membership?
No, nothing more than what I kind of mentioned today. We have, I have gotten, we have the 2 new members that we're inducting. We've got about 3 other, in fact, hey, Christine, can you unmute for a second? I wanted to ask you about, was it you that knew the guy from the Emmaus Church?
Yeah, Rich Lester.
Yeah, so didn't he want to take England's place?
Yes, I had connected you two at one point. But
Yeah, I sent him an application and all the other stuff. I guess maybe I just need to follow, but I didn't know if you had talked to him in the meantime or not.
I haven't recently, but I can follow up.
No, I'll take care of it. I just wanted to double check with you on that. So I've got all his info, so I'll check in with him. And then we've got another potential member, Janet Sicko,
Yep.
that's contacted Brian, and he's given me her info. And then William Jessup is still in play. I've been trying to reach Brandon this week, but haven't been successful yet. And we'll see what I can do at Omqua. So that's pretty much it. We had there's some type of relationship now between Rotary and Toastmasters. And I don't know if any of you know any people in Toastmasters, but I'm going to reach out to them and see, maybe they, 1, have interesting people to speak at our meetings, and number 2, maybe we could entice some of their members to join us as well.
Mark, at one point, Stan was in Toastmasters, I think.
Yeah, and Joanne told me that as well. So I will touch base with, I had my notes from our membership meeting last week that I would touch base with him and see if, see if that might make any sense. So I guess that's about it right now. We're at 47 members, and hopefully we can get it back up to 50 here pretty quickly.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. And I know once we get back to face-to-face meetings, John Gabriel from Arden wants to move, since he actually lives in Lincoln. So, but he figures he's been involved with that club for a long time. So he figures while they're remote, he'll just stay with them, then move when it starts becoming face-to-face meetings again. Got someone I'll keep in touch with for when we return to regular meetings. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Clark.
Yep.
Let's go to Karen.
Okay, we are picking our items from the company that's going to be on part of our silent auction on our live auction. We're up to that point. The other point we're at on the auction is Shantae's developed some flyers to get out on social media, so that'll be going out sometime this week, and probably tomorrow or over the weekend. I think she'll post them, and we'll get that same one out to members. And we just need to encourage everybody to have all our friends and relatives and everybody under the sun there, because it's basically I think it'll definitely be our only fundraiser for the year, unless we decided to add something. The Tour de Lincoln has been postponed officially now. It will be held on October 30th. And we're hoping, with all the talk of getting everybody in the US pretty well inoculated by October, that we should be a go and won't have to cancel it again. We ran into a problem, Jerry ran into a problem when he was talking with the city in regard to holding it in May of 2022. But that's all booked. And so Brian has agreed that he likes the idea of fall. And so Jerry is thinking we may just permanently move the Tour de Lincoln to a fall date. There is a little wiggle room on the May 2022 because the Holy Ghost Portuguese have booked 3 weeks out of that 4 weeks. And so they probably won't use all of it, but they're holding it till they decide what they're going to use. But that may be a little bit late for us to make it, they'll hold it for a long time. So it may make it so that we can't decide to have it in May of 2022. So we'll hold a little bit more discussion with different groups that are involved in it, but Brian's taken over the chairmanship, so he and Jerry will be talking and communicating with people to make recommendations. And really, we just go with their final decision as a board usually. The Wine Fest, Joanne hasn't pulled the plug totally, but I can't see in any way, shape, or form that we'll have it in the spring. So that's where we are.
All right. So yeah, I just want to follow up on a couple things. One is there was a link that went, or an email that went out the other day that then we had to respond to it for the gala, virtual gala. And so I responded, and then I saw your email that says, don't worry about that one. So is there another one coming out?
Yes,
Okay.
Once we get the flyer
Got it. Okay.
approved, Shantae's made 3 of them, and I have it out to the committee now to decide which one we're going to use.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. And then, yeah, Tour de Lincoln and talking with Jerry too. Moving to October 30th of this year, Jerry said that he'd forego his international travel to hold it. No, I'm kidding. Jerry did talk to me that given that we have to move it to October, that I'll make sure I'm there for that day. And it allows me to sort of take the training wheels off when it comes to dealing with the Tour de Lincoln. So we got that one set for October 30th, as you said. And then I actually like the idea of October 1st. And, in part, Joanne would have really the end of April all to herself for her Wine Fest. Because the issue there isn't so much that we have 2 things together, but when you ask all of our members to do something at the end of, be heavily involved at the end of April for Lincoln Wine Fest, and then a week or so later for all the involvement that we need for Tour de Lincoln, it's a lot for the club, right? So by moving to October, that could help spread that out, gives both events our full attention, if you will, as a club. And then one more piece, and that is ultimately, when we found out about the properties, ultimately I thought, it would be a perfect time for us to pare back on some of the fundraising activities, hopefully freeing up members' time for community involvement projects. So we do Lincoln Wine Fest in April and Tour de Lincoln in October moving forward. Then we can, if we still want to have another fundraiser, then we can pick the best time within that. I mean, basically it's 6 months apart, those 2, so we can pick the best time. I want to just touch on something that Barbara put in my head a couple of years ago, I think, when she first joined, about us, really sort of celebrating our supporters, our sponsors. So if we did a fundraiser that is focused on the, acknowledging our sponsors and still be a fundraiser. And what I mean is I've been involved with United Cerebral Palsy in Sacramento. Aaron is actually on the board for that group. And I've been to a couple of their fundraisers. It's in May, and what they do is it's focused on, we want to thank our sponsors, and this is an event for them. But what happens is they get the sponsors there. The sponsors start actually like outbidding each other for how much they're going to donate. So, and then they also have the silent auction. Yes, it's a big production. I'm not suggesting we can or should do something that big, but it ends up being a $400,000 plus night in terms of what they bring in. So I wouldn't mind us looking at something like that with that third event if we do one. So anyway, that's just kind of my thought, and we can have more discussion about it later.
Our group that we're hiring for running our live auction or silent live auction production kind of thing, they also do in-person stuff, and
Okay.
so they might be ones that help us bring in a bunch of stuff for for the silent auction and the live auction, plus our own stuff, and it would liven that up a lot.
Yes. And I think that'd be a way to go about it, looking at it that way, using an outside service like that. Okay, all right. Anyone else have anything specific to this?
Just briefly, and this will show how much I don't know about internet marketing, but as I recall, we have about 1,200 friends of Rotary on Facebook, someplace, or they're on our club runners. I'm talking about this in a source of people that should be notified of our February 26th fundraiser.
Yeah, I don't know where that is. Can you kind of
Well, I'll talk to Art about it, because
Yeah.
I seem to have that number from back when, that, hey, we have Club Runner, it sends it out to our members, but then we had another list that was Friends of Rotary that could be sent to. So I'll follow up with Art on it.
Yeah, and you're not talking about that. He's talking about the district.
No, I don't quite.
Okay, you follow up, let me know.
I'll do that.
Okay,
All
yeah,
right,
that'd be great. That'd be
Great,
fantastic.
Daryl, we'd love that.
Yeah.
Hey, Daryl,
We're gonna send
I'll save you the
stuff out to-
time. I'll have you the answer in 2 minutes here.
Great.
Because I'm in Club Runner right now. I'll find it.
I love that we
We're-
can multitask.
Yeah. We're sending it out to the people that signed up for Tour de Lincoln, and we're sending it out to the people who signed up for the Wine Fest. So Joanna and Jerry have agreed to do that. It's probably pushing it a little bit, but we're gonna push it.
Okay,
Okay.
great. All right, thank you.
The merrier.
Good.
Okay.
suggestion.
I think what you're thinking of, Daryl, is the people who like us on Facebook, because our contact group for, Chamber of Commerce, friends, potential members, all that stuff only adds up to about 180.
Well,
So that's what we have in Club Runner.
But you may be right about that. Like I say, I don't know the details of it, but I knew
That's okay. I'm just, so you don't have to call Art. I mean, that's the right answer. I'm gonna check Facebook, our friends on Facebook too, and I'll pop that in as soon as I find it.
Okay, well, you can coordinate with Karen or however we want to do that, Tim, but even the 180 would be a significant number.
Sure. Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I haven't gotten anything from public relations, although Shanti is putting out the notification for each week's meeting and then a follow-up from the prior meeting. So it gives a summary of what we did at those. So I'm glad to see that happening again. Youth services, didn't have anything specific from Chris. And then community service, I spoke with Kimberly recently, really just trying to get a handle on what her committee's talking about with a budget, but for budget items this year. And they continue to want to focus on the senior center, but aren't sure when they'll actually be able to do that. So it's possible that could even move into next year. And so she was going to be, I guess, having another community service meeting to kind of get some updates from her committee. Clark, anything on Rotary International Foundation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me move something over to this screen so I can share it. Can you see that?
Yes.
The club fundraising analysis. By the way,
Yeah.
just before I get to that, and to answer Daryl's question, Daryl, here's our Facebook page. And we have 1,249 people that like us on the Facebook page.
Okay, that's where I got to 1,200.
Yeah, and 1,357 people follow us. So if we send a message out there about our event, that will hit 1,300 people
Yeah.
on Facebook. Okay,
Cool.
so club fundraising, I just wanted to let you know, we've actually contributed to Rotary International this year $8,370. A fair amount of that went in at the end of December. It was a little over 3,000. 4,800 of that to the annual fund, the normal fund, and then the balance is gone into Polio Plus.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it's split out. For 2021, we're right at $101 per capita in our club, which is actually higher than the district average right now per capita. So we're actually, with our Polio Plus drive we kind of had in December, or the social was actually in October. It took me forever to get the money in and get it done, but that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
This is just a view from a district standpoint. This is all clubs in the district have done. And again, here you can see, here's our 4860, and then it's got 2,000 and other, and then that's because that went in December, and then 3510 for the year. So that's what's gone into Polio Plus, and there's our total of 8370.
Oh, great.
So that's it.
Wow.
Foundation, bring
Wow,
up to date.
fantastic. Nice. Thank you.
Can I make a comment on foundation?
Yes.
Just because these random thoughts come around. There's a lot of us that are getting older that would donate our points back to the club if we were ever told about them and there was a kind of a concentrated effort to do that.
Daryl, you can
So
only
just
transfer.
something-
Well, no, here, let me explain how that works. If you
Okay,
donate your points to the club can't move them again. You can only do transfer points one time. And if you send them into the club can't give them to somebody else again after that.
But then they can
So-
just order a Paul Harris, can't they? The club?
Well, you have to order it for someone specifically though. So
yeah.
for
It gives
example,
them,
if we wanted to be an all Paul Harris club, which to be an all Paul Harris club, you only have to have all members be Paul Harris members one time in the club's history. If certain members wanted to give their points away, I've gone through this before with the club, and the members didn't want to do that. They didn't want to like hand people Paul Harris awards.
I think that some of those people have left the club now.
Well, but some haven't.
yeah,
So,
it's just,
I mean,
it's,
but like, for example, we just decided to award
Susan.
well, no, that's been done. No, we just did, we're doing two more for,
Tony's son,
yes, for Tony and Carrie.
right.
I'm gonna give them each a Paul Harris. So I needed 2,000 points. So I've gone to Pete Walker. Pete's given me 1,000. And I just haven't gone to anybody else to ask them yet. So like Daryl, if you have 500 you'd like to give towards that, that'd be up to you, you know. So we can use it for
Well,
other,
and especially,
we used to, like, once a year, we'd give a Paul Harris to someone in the community that had done special things. as a
Jerry
recognition.
has
Well,
suggested
Nick-
that we do give Paul Harris's to people who've given us a bunch of money, like for 2 years in a row, we've gotten $5,000 from I don't know, the guys that developed the area over there by west of us, west of Lincoln Hills, and then have them come speak to the club and give them a Paul Harris for all of the
Yeah.
things that they helped us do. And
Good
that's
idea.
something could be discussed and voted upon, and like Hovanian, $2,000 and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
Well, there-
actually on the agenda under new business a little bit later, so,
Yeah.
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 Okay.
it looks like there's a lot of uses for them, but one thing, another one I'll throw into the mix, and then I expect we should close the subject is, new members that could be matched on getting started on their Paul Harris.
Yeah, Jerry,
So,
that's how Jerry
I
got
don't-
started on his, and I think he's up to 15 now. The other
Yeah.
thing is, how much, do you know Clark County people in our club do not have Paul Harris's out of our 47?
Yeah. I know exactly who has them and who doesn't have them. It's actually was on, I don't think I
Just-
pulled that report up, but I have the report available.
Well, I know, but numbers, are we talking 5? We talking 10, 20?
Oh, give me 1 second, because I might, let's see if I had that. No, it's not on this report. Give me one second, I'll tell you. This will tell me how many Paul Harris fellows we have in the club as soon as it, so we have 33 out of
Okay.
47.
47 or 48.
Yeah. Okay.
So and this actually shows you who has a Paul Harris and who doesn't. So see if it's blank, they don't have one. And there's a couple pages, I think, of that.
A lot of those are our newer
Well,
people.
Daryl, you could give one to your lovely wife, Linda.
Yeah.
That's
she
the first
got
one you should, that's who,
She's got one.
really, it doesn't show that she has one.
Well, one of those at my plus numbers went to Linda.
Yeah, see, it should show that oh, you know what? There's another way I can run this without just members. It's all values, and it'll probably show it up there. Just a second. I know you're just all loving this. This goes back through everybody that's ever had one, because she probably has one under when she was not a Rotarian, you gave it to her.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
It's still not showing up here though. Anyway, all right. And you have 1,044 points available to transfer. That's what that number is right there. So that's how we know who's got what points. And so some, like, yeah, Pete Walker's got 7,700. So he's got a ton of points available. So he's been saying, hey, yeah, if you can use them, give them away. Because when you pass away, you can't use them anymore. They just
No,
disappear.
we lost all kinds of them when we lost
Dead Page and
Yeah.
Page.
Yeah.
Yep.
When Joanne was the foundation person, we talked about using all those up, and she asked me to go through and talk to members about giving their points to them, and I did, and there was like 20,000 points, or maybe even double that, I don't know, that we could have used, but I don't know why it wasn't carried forward, if some people in the club disagreed, and so it was dropped, or what the issue was, but I think it's a good thing to revisit.
these are the points the club has. The club has almost 6,000 points that it can transfer. Because it earns points like when the club donates 2,000 to Polio Plus, the club gets 2,000 points. Because it's not from individual members, it's actually from the club. So we have those points as well. So we have quite a lot of points. Daryl,
long
on the
time
matching thing, when I was foundation chair, and we could do this again. Anybody who gave $100, the club matched 100 points. So they got $200 towards their Paul Harris. And we did that up to $200 per year. And that helped me get my first Paul Harris, because I'd give 200 and the club would give me 200 points and I'd have 400. Well, in 2.5 years, I had my Paul Harris.
It just needs to be revisited. And if we look at Tony there, we lost 1,500 points. I'm sure he would have loved to have given to the club. So anyway, I just brought it up to get it on the radar scope again.
No, good thought. Thanks. Okay.
Maybe
right.
Clark, you could make a proposal to the board.
Well, I've just kind of been the interim committee.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that's
just kind
good.
of doing it for Karen, so I don't really have a committee put together. Probably should do that, and we'll get that.
Does anybody remember when, it was a while back, that somebody every year or every 6 months would hand out a little sheet showing how many points everybody had? And they gave you a sheet so you knew. And then we talked about it and said that might be an introduction to getting it going again.
Yeah. And when
anybody
I was
remember that with
foundation
me?
chair, I used to call people back, like, Karen, do you know you're only like 35 points away from another Paul Harris? You just got one today, but you're like 35 points away from another one. Your next
Oh, you
one.
mean, so I should have given 1,035?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it just needs to be resurrected in the future.
Well, I tell you, for one, I would be happy to name people in our club a Paul Harris person. I like that idea, because the club in New York that Jerry belonged to very much helped him with points like what he had, and also getting his first Paul Harris, like what Clark was talking about. And I'm happy to, and I know Jerry is too, I'm sure, happy to give our points to help people get new.
Yeah, I mean,
Become a Paul Harris. And then
you and Jerry each have over 2,000 points. Jan Hutchinson's got over 3. Joanne's got 2,800. Dick Fowler's got 3,200. Art's got
What do I
almost
have?
6,000. Claire, Luke, you have 1,244.
So
Clark,
you could
what do I
name
have?
somebody.
Claire, you have 1,244. Did somebody else ask me?
Thank you.
So right there we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 even in this 8 or 10 in this meeting alone
Yeah.
that could be out to either members of our club or somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll see if we can.
There's a lot of points there if you add them all up.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're $85 away, Karen.
Oh, geez, I better get busy.
That's why she didn't send 1,085. Yeah.
And also, it looks like, based on Jerry's recent contribution, I mean, if he hasn't been recognized as a major donor, we should make that happen too. Because that's when you get to, when it says 9,000 and asterisk, that means you're a major donor, and that's a pretty special award. So we'll get that in the works.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. Thanks for.
Okay.
Yeah, and the same with Joanne there. Did you see that? She has 9,000 as well. I don't know if.
I missed that, I guess.
Yeah, it is there.
Yeah, just 2 above Jerry.
Oh,
Well, and Art Deerdorf, was he recognized?
oh yeah, he's recognized a couple,
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay, enough on foundation. Thanks for all your input.
Thank you. All right. Why don't we go to the update from John on the foundation?
Okay. We met on the yesterday, the 27th, the board. And one of the primary items that was adopted is the MOU, which is between the foundation, Lincoln Rotary Club Foundation, Lincoln Rotary Club, and the LRC Properties, Inc. And thank you to Clark for that revision to basically include the properties in that documentation. It's been adopted by the properties, been adopted by the foundation, and it needs to be adopted by the club.
So Brian, do you want to cover this under new business?
Yeah.
Or do you
Yeah.
want us to just deal with it now since
Yeah, let's
John's
just
bringing
deal
it
with
up?
now while we're here and coming back to it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. John, do you want me to just
Yeah,
go over
Clark,
real
if you
quickly
could-
what we added?
You could add, yeah, explain the additions and the weaving in of the properties
Okay.
to,
So
Make it
I got
better.
involved in this because I did the original, most of the work with Alan Lowe, who was president of the foundation when I forget what year that was originally done, but we did this several years ago and we patterned it after Roseville. But it was the MOU was between the Rotary Club Foundation and the Rotary Club itself. So with the addition of this new entity, LRC Properties, we needed to have it a three-way agreement. So that was the purpose of this. So we've added basically LRC Properties to this MOU. Where we changed things, we didn't change the foundation and the mission statement. The separate funds basically applies to foundation funds. And the foundation management responsibilities really didn't change in here. Club management responsibilities didn't change. So we added LRC property management responsibilities, that they have the exclusive responsibility for the management of LRC properties, including but not limited to the following. So keeping separate bank accounts from the foundation and the club, being responsible for prudent and proper management of the properties, preparing, presenting, and gaining approval of a Lincoln LRC properties budget annually. And then the thing we added after the LRC properties board meeting a week or two ago was that a clause that says, notwithstanding the above statement that LRC trustees shall have the exclusive responsibility for the management of LRC properties, any decision to acquire, sell, or encumber the properties must be approved by both the club directors and foundation trustees. So we can't sell, acquire, or encumber anything unless the club and the foundation trustees all agree as well that should be done. So kind of a check and balance on somebody just going off and signing a grant deed from LRC properties to sell the property. And that's really it. I think we added one other thing in here that, the LRC Board of Directors shall at least once annually prior to June 30th of each year consider a distribution to the foundation, provided that adequate reserves and operating capital is available to sustain LRCP in the future. So that's in there just as if they think it's prudent to make a distribution of some of the cash that's accrued, they would do that at least prior to the beginning of the new president's term. And then we've got the signature lines. So I wouldn't mind. So this has been approved by both the trustees of the foundation and the LRCP Properties Board. And, we need to have it approved by this board and then we can get it signed by everybody and memorialize it.
And anyone have any further questions or discussion on this?
I'd make a motion for approval.
I second it.
All right. So we got a first and a second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? No. Okay, it's unanimously approved.
That was controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll, I'll send around a note to get it. Pat, we didn't put in there that it could be signed in counterparty. Christine, would that have to be added if we were going to do that? Or should I just mail it to one president and then have him mail it to the next one? The next one will just get.
No, you can do
Fine, but-
counterpart. The law lets you, the statutes let you do counterparts at this point.
Okay, it doesn't have to be stated as such then. I didn't know. So,
No.
okay. Well, I don't know. I think I'll just we should get wet signatures on one page just to make it clean, I think, because we're not in a super rush to have this. Doesn't it have to be done tomorrow? So
Right.
I'll mail it to you, Brian, but I'll put 2 more envelopes in it so you can then mail it to the next person. But we do need 2 signatures from each entity. So anyway, I'll deal with the details of that.
Okay, all right.
We can move on.
Good.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
John? Back to you.
Yeah, the next item was, this is something that we do every year, is enter into an MOU with the Toft family, the Living Trust. And this is for the current year, which is where we have the community garden. And so I signed that, and Richard Tuft of the family trust, Living Trust, signed it. So we have that memorialized.
Good.
Thinking about the board members for the foundation, there are currently 10. Max under bylaws would be 12. So 10 seems to be a good number, but we're going to lose a couple. And so we'll need to think about that, who we might want to add or talk to people about joining. And then, of course, our officers for next year, which is a July 1 year beginning. We'll elect those officers in the month of April at our next board meeting. And actually add new trustees in June. So we have that June meeting prior to July.
Yeah.
Do you know of any of those people who are coming off in 2021 or interested in going back on, or are they limited but being there?
Well, Daryl is told me that, or told the board that he wants to go off, and Art has said the same thing. And Brian, I've not had a conversation with Brian, so those would be the 3 that would be going off.
We would add one automatically because the new president-elect would come in. Christine
Yeah.
basically bumps into Brian's role as club president, trustee ex officio.
Right.
And
Kimberly.
would jump
Kimberly
in
would
there.
be
So
also-
we really need to replace 2. If Brian says no, if Brian wants to stay on, then we would just need to replace 1.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind staying on.
Good.
All right, we're down to 1.
Down to
Okay.
1.
All
Down
right.
to 1.
Okay.
That's great. Good.
I would encourage you to look at a woman.
Well, we certainly can, Graziella and Christine and Prima, and let's
And
add another one.
Kimberly will be added on. So yeah.
Kimberly, yeah. So, okay, thinking about the community garden, we just got word today that a portion of the fence, the wood fence, is down, and so we need to get that repaired. So we're working on that. I think that really kind of completes the report on the foundation.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
How about properties?
Sure.
Move into that. Okay.
So the grant deed, subject to life estate, is still with us, and we're expecting that might be approved by the courts maybe in April, hopefully. Daryl is going to work on a tour of the properties of our lots as well as the homes that we have that we're renting. So we'll try to set that date up once we get an agreement on that and notify everyone that might be interested in being part of that. We've been for some time trying to get directors and officers insurance for the LRC properties. And this seems to be a real stumbling block. So we're going to add to our bylaws some sort of indemnity to indemnify the directors and officers.
Hey,
How you doing?
good, hold on a second.
Oh, sorry, doing okay.
One of the lots, Jerry reported on this, I think last time I heard it was PG&E had approached him about a lot. They need a lot for a short period of time to store their equipment. And it's, I think starting on, I think the 15th. Basically, that was $500 a month for 4 months. So that's $2,000 that we, you know, is new to the properties, which is great. We also have a signage contract that's been signed on another lot. And that was actually on the 15th of January that went into effect. That generates $300 a month for a 3-year agreement. So that's $3,600. I mentioned earlier on the foundation side that the MOU had been updated and agreed to by the board. The property tax appeal with Placer is Jerry's going to head that up, and that's scheduled for the 8th of February. That's the hearing date. Hopefully he'll get a reduction in the realm of maybe $4,000 a year, but we're not real encouraged by that. So we'll persevere and see what happens. The federal tax returns and the state returns have been filed. And that is true also for the foundation. So those returns are in. I think that covers the properties.
All right. Okay. Any questions for John on foundation or properties? All right. Well, we move on to World Community Services and Richard I haven't heard back from, so I'm assuming he's not going to join us today. And how about Clara? Anything on you?
I'm looking at a few different places, a few options, outdoor type things more than anything else, because we still don't have any idea when we're going to be inside anywhere. So, but there's not a fifth Thursday until, what did I say, April, I think.
Yeah, April. Okay.
April.
So we still have a few months.
All right.
But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean we can't do something like on a weekend. You know, still looking at the meridians and outdoor type thing outside the bar there and getting food, certain kind of food done by the chef and just have sort of a picnicky type thing, but it's a little too cold yet.
Okay.
Anyway.
We should be going, just for everybody's information, the county should be going into red probably by the end of February. But that still carries with it, although you can transition to indoor dining, it's like family groups of no more than 3 families and that, all those kinds of restrictions, so.
Right. Okay. Great. Well, thank you. All right.
Okay.
So Christine, anything on the emergency council?
We haven't met, probably since November.
Okay.
So not really anything new or exciting.
All right. Good. And Joanne or Chris aren't here, so nothing on the COVID-19 committee reports. All right, so let's move into some old business. Clark, any more recent updates on getting Susan her Paul Harris Award?
I submitted the paperwork several weeks ago. I told her president to let us know when he got it, so he
Okay.
could invite us to the Zoom meeting. I guess I could follow up with an email to him again and say, hey, did you ever get it? Or did you already give it to her and forget about us? Or what?
Yeah. I'm sure if she got it, she would have reached out to us.
I'll send him an email. I'll just make myself a note so I don't forget.
All right. Yeah, and it could be, he just hasn't seen it yet. I think it was you were telling me yours was delayed quite a while when you got.
Well, no, that was a contribution I made that
Oh, okay.
the Rotary Foundation, they took it, they cashed the check, but they never gave me credit for it. It took me 5 months to get credit for my $100 check.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I'll check with I think his name's Dave something. That's
Yes, Dave Brown. Yeah.
Dave Brown.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And then meeting attendance focus, and that's an ongoing thing. I know we reached out, I think it was early February, late November, early February, reached out. We actually, I think it was last week, we had 25 or 26 people on our lunch meeting. Today was a little late again. And I think I just need to figure out something different to kind of spice it up. It's feeling, it's flat. So,
Did you
and
get that?
I think that's,
No, I'm not gonna eat it in front of them. Just leave it on the counter.
and then as
Whatever was burning.
I think, I think we can kind of put that aside still. I'm not too worried about that one unless anyone else has something that they want to focus on with that. I think we got enough stuff going on right now. I do want to move into this new business section though. So we had an issue where a member, and the intention was good. They paid with their own credit card, a shelter box donation in order to take advantage of matching funds. And I guess what happened was it was like the last day of matching funds or something like that. So they paid it and then requested reimbursement, which isn't an issue between us, but it is an issue when it comes to, acceptable accounting principles, and the potential could be that we could lose our 501c3 status by doing stuff like that. So I'm going to bring this up in a meeting, probably next lunch meeting, that, if we need something done that quickly, we can do one of two things. Just go to Graziella for a check, or she does have a credit card. If something has to be that fast, we can use the Foundation Club credit card to pay for it. Then that keeps us in good standing from an accounting perspective. And John and I spoke briefly about this yesterday at the Foundation call. And what we decided is we're going to put out a joint email from the two of us asking that people comply with this for the concern of us having any issues with our 501c3 status. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, unless anyone has any specific questions or has a better way for us to approach this, or a different way that they think we should do it. But I think, it's not like we're really bad at this. It just so happens that it came up recently. And so I want to make sure that we nip that in the bud and make sure everyone understands it's not just we're being sticklers about paperwork or anything. So any comments or questions or concerns about us addressing it that way?
No, I think that makes sense. I think people, you know, the laws for a 501c3 are very clear, and that the nonprofit cannot make contributions to a private individual.
Yeah.
And we just want to make sure that our records don't raise a specter that that's what happened, when we know, in fact, that's what didn't happen. But it's just, it's a red flag audit trigger, which we'd like to avoid.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, and Graziella is the one that brought it to my attention, and I think to John as well. So I'm glad she's paying attention to those types of things too. So thank you. Thanks for that input, Christine. And then the next thing is something that Karen alluded to earlier, and that is Jerry threw out an idea of us, you know, inviting our sponsors to be a speaker at our meetings, give them that time to, you know, to present in front of us and get a chance to meet with us, mingle with us. And then potentially look at a Paul Harris Award, and I would assume that would come with a certain level of sponsor, right? What thoughts does anyone else have around us doing that? Good idea, bad idea? Any
I think
thoughts?
it's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah,
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 I think it's a good idea.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and then Clark can pitch his corporate membership.
That's right.
Yes, yes. That's right.
But like
Exactly.
Rogers Family Coffee Company gave us a whole ton for Tour de Lincoln, not this last year, but the year before, right? Didn't they put out $5,000
Yeah,
or
I think
something?
No, they gave us 10.
10, yeah. So I mean,
They
if
gave
somebody
us
steps
10
up five
and
and
Jerry,
up,
who gave us 5?
who gave us 5?
Jerry, who gave us $5,000? Oh, Regency Home gave us $5,000 one year, and then the next year they gave us another 5,000. And
Yeah.
then we've had a couple of people give us 2,000,
Yeah.
Okay.
like Kaiser, Sutter, Sierra Pacific has given us, I think, 1,000.
Okay.
Is that, and there's some other ones that gave us 1,000. So there's some 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, and one 10,000. But some of them, one of them gave us 2 5,000s consecutive years.
Yep.
Why don't we do this? I'll talk with Jerry and come back to the board next meeting with some structure behind it. You know, basically, here's the level for speakers. It doesn't really matter what level, but as far as like for the Paul Harris Award, which is where we could use some of these points, right, that you guys were talking about earlier. And I'll talk with Jerry and see if we can put something more to it so we understand the levels of when someone would get a Paul Harris Award. Because I would love to start this. I think it'd be good for us. I think it'd be good, as you pointed out, Karen, for potential corporate memberships. And then, you know, kind of going to what I was saying earlier, getting them more involved with us and potentially locking them in, you know, as sponsors from year to year. So, okay.
Let me just interject a bit.
Yes.
I'm in favor of this deal, but I'm also in favor of directing points towards our own members, especially new members. I know as a corporation, when I was a corporation, getting an award like this, unless it was very substantial, didn't mean a whole heck of a lot. It went into the bottom drawer, unless there's a special affinity there. So I just throw that in as my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I don't think Jerry was suggesting, and I wouldn't be suggesting that we just do it for everyone. There has to be a level that really kind of makes sense. And maybe we do some other type of an award. Maybe just a certificate for a certain level and some other sort of a gift from us for our appreciation. So
I like that. I like that line of thinking.
Okay, yeah, so we'll put something more to this and then come back for next board meeting and see what kind of response we get from that and tweak it till we get something to move forward with. All right. Okay. And then the last thing I have is just the Rotary Club dues. And I know typically, I don't think we would even be discussing this every quarter, but given the time that we're in and we've been good about just having, what is it, $36? Now I forget what our last quarter was. But anyway, my point is, I would like to suggest we stick with the same dues that we did for last quarter. And I want to say it was 36.
It was 30, I think, wasn't it? 30, but it's whatever.
Yeah, so that last, I suggest that we just stay with that for this next quarter. You know, it's you know, just kind of given the way our setup is, it's, and we're fine. We've covered our dues. So any thoughts or comments about us just sticking with the $30 dues for third quarter here of our fiscal year?
I move that we
Makes sense.
use the same third quarter dues and collections as we did the last quarter.
Okay,
Second.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Any abstentions? Nope. Okay, then we'll do that. I'll get that to Graziella and then she'll be able to send that out. Okay. Anything else that anyone has that they want to bring up while we're together? Nope. Okay. Then do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second, third.
All in favor?
Thanks,
Aye.
guys.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. All right. Then thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. It's great to see you again, Christine. Glad you're feeling better.
Me too.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll bet. And then we will see you all next month for Thursday.
February.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night. Thank you.
Night.
Thank you.